Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to be decoding the language of the road. So let's jump right in and get started with mastering traffic control.
So let me ask you, do you really speak the language of the road? Think about it for a second. Every single sign, every signal, every line painted on the pavement, it's all part of one big conversation. It's this vital communication system designed to keep millions of us moving safely. And look, understanding this language isn't just about passing a test. It's about becoming a confident, predictable driver out there.
Okay, so here's our journey for today. First, we'll dive into the road's secret language. Then we'll move on to decoding signs by their shape, mastering traffic lights, and reading the lines on the pavement. After that, we'll talk about when people take control, and we'll wrap it all up with a final knowledge check.
All right, let's get into it. First up, the road's secret language. And I'm not kidding. Without this shared system, our roads would just be pure, absolute chaos.
You see, these aren't just polite suggestions, they are direct instructions. They're constantly telling you the rules, warning you about hazards, and showing you where to go. Mastering this system is your key to navigating the roads with total confidence.
On to our next section, decoding signs by shape. Now this is pretty cool. Long before you're even close enough to read a sign, its shape and color are already telling you a story. It's your first and fastest clue about what's coming up ahead.
The color code is actually pretty straightforward. White and red signs are for regulation. They set the rules. Yellow is for warnings. Green is for destinations, and blue points you to services. But here's another great tip. Just remember, rectangles are for rules and diamonds are for dangers.
So let's look at two of the most critical signs out there. A red octagonal SOP sign means one thing and one thing only. You must come to a complete stop. No rolling through it, no hesitation. Now a yield sign, that's different. It means slow down, be prepared to stop, and only go when the way is clear. You stop if you have to, but it isn't mandatory every single time.
And here we can see that color change in action. A standard yellow diamond warns you about a potential hazard, like a sharp curve. But when that diamond is orange, whoa, that's a work area sign. Orange tells you the danger level is much higher because there are people physically working on or near the road. You have to slow down and be extra vigilant.
Okay, signs are decoded. Now, let's picture it. We're rolling up to a busy intersection. It's time to master the traffic lights.
These are the fundamentals, but let's lock them in. A steady red light means stop. Period. Don't go until it's green. A steady yellow is your heads up that the light is about to turn red, so you should prepare to stop safely. And a steady green means go, but, and this is so important, you still have to yield to any traffic or pedestrians already in the intersection.
So what about turning right on red? In many places, it's totally fine, but only if you follow these 3 steps exactly. First, come to a complete stop before the line. Second, yield to all oncoming traffic and pedestrians. They have the right of way. Finally, when the coast is clear, you can make your turn. But of course, if you see a no turn on red sign, well, that's off the table.
Remembering the difference with flashing lights is actually really simple. A flashing red light, just treat it exactly like a stop sign. And a flashing yellow light, that's a caution signal. You don't have to stop, but you absolutely need to proceed carefully.
So what's the difference between a plain green light and a green arrow? Well, a steady green light means you can go, but if you're turning left, you have to yield to oncoming traffic. A green arrow, on the other hand, gives you what's called a protected turn. This means you have the right of way, and any oncoming traffic should be stopped.
All right, so let's shift our focus from looking up at signs and signals to looking down at the road itself. Those painted lines on the pavement are your constant guide, always telling you where to go and what you can or can't do.
Here's a rule that simplifies absolutely everything. Yellow lines separate traffic moving in opposite directions. White lines separate traffic going in the same direction. Just burn that into your brain and you'll always know the flow of traffic.
And what about passing? Well, you can only pass if the line on your side is broken. If you see double solid lines, doesn't matter if they're yellow or white, that means no passing for anyone. Just think of it like a solid wall you can't cross.
Okay, time for a quick knowledge check. You're driving along, and you see this big diamond symbol painted on the pavement right in your lane. Do you know what the road is telling you?
It means that lane is reserved. That diamond symbol marks a lane for high-occupancy vehicles, or HOV, which means buses, vans, and carpools.
So unless you meet the vehicle requirements for that lane, you can't use it. It's all about making the road more efficient for everyone.
So we've covered signs, signals, and all those markings. But what happens when there's a person standing in the middle of the road directing you? Well, this introduces the final and most important layer in the hierarchy of traffic control.
This is the golden rule, straight out of the driver's manual. It is simple and it is absolute. The instructions you get from an authorized person, like a police officer or a flagger in a work zone, they override everything else. Let's make this real. Imagine you pull up to an intersection. The light is bright green, telling you to go. But there's a police officer standing right there, holding up their hand and telling you to stop. What do? Who has the final say?
The traffic officer. Always. Their command is number one. You obey the officer, not the light. This is the principle that keeps order during traffic incidents, power outages, or special events. The human in charge has the ultimate authority.
And that really covers the whole hierarchy of the road. We've decoded signs, we've mastered lights, we've read the lines, and we understand the ultimate rule. And all of this knowledge is designed for one single purpose: to help you drive with safety and confidence.
So, the final takeaway is this. Knowing the rules on the page is one thing, but are you ready to apply them on the road? Because understanding the language of the road is a skill, and like any skill, it just gets stronger with practice. The real test isn't just knowing the rules, but applying them consistently every single time you get behind the wheel. So are you ready?